Start the recording. All right, what's good, y'all? I'm back. I'm dropping some more sauce, bro. Some more game, just like on how to automate macroeconomic data collection from the Fred. Now, this video is not going to help everybody. This video is going to be for some people who are a little bit tech savvy or just not, who are not afraid to dip their toes into some coding, right? And it's not. I'm not gonna say it's complicated, but to be honest with you guys, if you just have the willpower to push through, you could just use ChatGPT to do this. I will be honest. I do have a little bit of a coding background, but I wouldn't even call myself a developer. I wouldn't call myself a junior dev. I understand a couple languages like Python, C sharp, and like HTML, JavaScript, but it's like I'm not putting together a full program. I don't know how to do any of that. I'm literally just using AI to help me do this. So to get into this video, let's really get started, right? Let's talk about why we're here, right? So why would you even why do you even why should you care about macroeconomics when it comes to trading? Why should you care? So to be honest, the reason why you should care about macros is because macros is literally like a top-down process, right? It's what leads. It's like a funnel. It's like at the top of the funnel, it's like whatever what you dump in, it gets filtered all the way down to the bottom, which is like the stocks, the ETFs, the things that you trade. So let's say let's use an example, right? Um, with the sneaker industry, right? Price or let's say well, let's talk about tariffs. Let's just do simple, right? The Nintendo Switch 2 just dropped, right? The Nintendo Switch 2 just dropped, but the prices jumped crazy because of the potential tariffs that Trump is supposed to be putting on like outside goods or goods that are imported into America. So um, that's an example of the macro affecting the micro. What is that going to do to consumers? People are going to have to pay more. Now, from there, from a top-down perspective, you can figure out, well, are all technology stocks are going to be affected, or technology sectors going to be affected, and will Nintendo be affected as a stock, right? Because it's going to be more expensive for them to sell their consoles, which is supposed to be a big thing for them, and that can lead to a trade idea. So for me, fundamental analysis makes up about 80% of the trading process. Like if you know how the world is moving, you know how sectors will perform, then you know how stocks and ETFs will react. So you have a bunch of macroeconomic data, right? And this, an example, we're just using money supply. Money supply is just something that money supply shows us how much money is being printed or in circulation by the government. If you can look at this chart, as you can guess right here, you can see the this crazy jump, right, in money supply, which is money printed. Everybody should know what this is. This is COVID, right? This is COVID. This is COVID when everybody got those stimulus checks, right? When everybody got those stimulus checks, the government had to print that money out, which is why we've seen a increase in the money supply. So these are things, right? There's different macroeconomic data. I'm not going to get into the macroeconomic data that is important, the macroeconomic data that you should be looking into, but there's tons of all like the Fred is free. Like you can go online and uh, see the information, figure out how this correlates to trading or correlates to a certain industry or a stock or ETF that you are trading, and you can use this macroeconomic data to help you make better decisions. So that's the quick rundown of why the macroeconomics is important. Just to keep it going, keep the energy going, right? So this video is about automating this process. Is about I will say I'll say semi-automating it, like making it faster. So the data collection process is very tedious, right? And this is pretty much the process that I went through, which is I open up the Fred link, right? Money to real money supply, right? You have to manually filter the data by going to edit the graph, or changing the time horizon based off whatever the last data you had, right? More clicks, more typing. Then you have to download the data, right? You have to download the data by clicking here, download it, right? Once you download it, you have to open it, enable editing. It might be an Excel file or a CSV file. Then from there, you might have to filter it because the order could be reversed based on how you had it in your data sheet. So now you have to tidy up the data, Then you have to copy the data, append it to your new data sheet, reformat the data sheet, and then go on to the next sheet, right? Now, in a perfect world where you're speeding through this, when the ADHD is not kicking in, it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes. It's going to take 3 to 5 minutes, right? And that's just for one sheet. There are sheets that have way there's way more things I need to do. So some sheet it could take 10, 15 minutes, especially if I take a long time, like or there's gaps between when I collected the data and the last time I collected data. And that's really been my problem is that this process is very boring and redundant and it's easy to push off because it feels like you're not getting anything from it. Right? You're just clicking buttons, and you go to the next sheet, next sheet, next sheet, next sheet. When you have like 20, 30 sheets, um, now that's like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes because like sometimes the data, there might just be issues collecting the data or you gotta format something or something goes wrong and it breaks. But now because we have tools like ChatGPT, like Claude, whatever you're using, because we have these tools, right? You can automate these processes without hiring a developer, without being a developer yourself, right? You can get the information, the data that you need without having to spend a lot of time getting the data so you can spend that time instead processing the data, understanding what's happening, right? Understanding what's happening in the markets. So now with the process, at least when it comes to the Fred, which is like the federal some let me just read it. Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. This is where they give a lot of free information. Now that sheet that might have took me 3 to 5 minutes. Now it's just me going into my Python terminal and just typing the name Python and then the name of the script, which might be M2. This one is like M2 money sup, which stands for M2 money supply. So now less than a minute for an entire data sheet. So over the year, you're saving hundreds of hours, right? Just not having to download and update the sheets. Of course, eventually you're gonna have issues. You're gonna have rate limits. You're gonna have things that break, right? But some of these macroeconomic indicators, they only get updated once a month, right? So that's time that you're getting back. But let's just get into the meat and potatoes, right? We're 7 minutes in. This is what is important, which is how to do it, right? Now this is going to be a full tutorial where I go and I do it on ChatGPT and fill it out in front of you. I like you need to be a self-starter, you need to be a learner, you need to figure out how to do this on your own because when you can do it on your own, you don't need to rely on the YouTube video and you'll be comfortable making it happen. So let's get into it, right? So if you want to automate your macroeconomics, right? This is how you do it. All you have to do is create a prompt, right? And for ChatGPT, you want to use ChatGPT 04 Mini High. This is the one that you want to use. ChatGPT 04 Mini High, right? That's one that's going to be preferably used for coding. And get a ChatGPT Plus account. It's $20. That way you won't run out of prompts. So this is what I did, right? I need a new spreadsheet to be automated, right? And I call out the spreadsheet. The name of the spreadsheet is US2 Money Supply. I have the sheet name, which is like the tab that it is. Nominal money stock, oh no. Yeah, nominal money stock M2, right? Here we have the title of it, pretty much the header titles. So we're telling ChatGPT where the data is. A1, B1, month over month, D1. So now this you can use this prompt, right? Use it. Let me move it out the way so you can see the prompt. This is the prompt. Now let's continue. So with the Fred data source, right? Because we're going to be calling from we're going to be using our Fred API key to call data, from the Fred into our spreadsheet. We're going to call the data source, which is going to be M2 real, right? That's going to be this name right here. It's going to be an abbreviation, and then you add the link. I add the link in here just for ChatGPT, just in case. So you copy this is like the actual link to the website or this web page. And then we tell it we need to find the last date in the spreadsheet, right? This is our date. So we wanted to scroll. Our data goes back all to 1959. So we're asking it to scroll all the way down to find the latest date in in the column, right? And then from there, we need to find the latest date in the spreadsheet, update to the last available date we can get from the Fred. So we're updating from whatever we had on the spreadsheet up until the last bit of data that we have available on the Fred. Now, the Fred sometimes is delayed. It might be something that'll pop up. There might be something that pops up. Let me move this. There might be something that pops up. Like for June, the last date we might have for monthly supply might be April. So sometimes it's delayed. But if you run this script every single month, you're eventually going to be up to date with the data. Or if you really need the data right away, you can go find other sources and pay for it and have it immediately, right? Now, this part, don't worry about this part. This is something that is broken, but I'm still giving you the prompt. But pretty much I have some month over month and year over year, and I wanted to copy those formulas, but this did not work, right? This did not work. But this is the iteration process. You're just testing. Then I had another sheet that needs updating, and we're following the same format as you see historical analysis over here. I told it where the date header is, where the title is, and then where the stuff is, and then update the sheets located M2 real using our API key autofill M2M with current formula. This shit doesn't work either. But this is the iterative process, right? So once you have that, ChatGPT is going to spit out the code, but if this is your first time doing it, it's going to tell you what you need to do to make this work on your spreadsheet. So I don't have the screenshot on here, but in the spreadsheet, pretty much, for your every Google Drive spreadsheet, right, has it has a it's like a key, or not a key, it's like a code that's like in between, like it's like a D, there's like a D, there's a slash, and then there's this longest code, and then there's another slash. This you're gonna need that string of text to work for the script to work that it's gonna put out. You're also gonna need a Google Cloud console, right? You're gonna need to create an account on there. You can create one for free, right? Then you're going to need to enable the Google Drive API, which is going to access your Google Drive, because we're doing this through Google Drive because we want it to be via the internet. I want to have access to this spreadsheet, whether I'm on my desktop, whether I'm on my Mac, or I'm on my little like tablet, right? So we want to enable Google Drive API. We want to enable Google Sheets API, and then we also need to create an account. We need to create an account, and we need to get a JSON file, which is down here. We need a JSON file, and we're going to have to direct our code to this JSON file so we can use our API, our Google API credentials, right? We also need to go to the Fred, right? And we need to request or view API keys. If this is your first time, you're gonna have to request it, right? So all you have to do is go on Google and type in Fred API keys. ChatGPT will also give you the breakdown of how to do this, right? It's gonna tell you how to do this, but I'm just showing you so you can visually see that it's not that many. I mean, there's steps to it, but this is kind of what it's gonna look like. So once you have your API keys, you have your Google Cloud service and set up, right? The Now you need an IDE or a code editor. Um, Most people are using Visual Code Studio, right? But if you're just simple like me, you could just use Notepad plus plus. It's very simple. I use this on Windows, and all you have to do is just save the file. Like when you copy the code that ChatGPT gives you, you just have to save the file, and then just go to save as and save it as .py, because most likely you're going to be using Python. There is some other steps that I forgot to put in here too, but ChatGPT is going to tell you. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to install into your command prompt, and most likely it's going to be like Python pip install, and then it will be like it's gonna be like G Cloud or something like that. There's gonna be pandas. There's gonna be um what else? Like Y Finance. all these different things, right? It's gonna tell you what you need. It's gonna ChatGPT is gonna tell you what you need to install, right? For me, for some reason, I always have to do Python. What the heck? Python m pip install. For whatever reason, I don't know why I have to do that, but it's going to tell you, and you're going to run into problems. You're going to have issues. Just copy the problems that you're having into ChatGPT, and it will work with you to fix it. So once you have the IDE set up, right, the last thing you need to do is to go to your actual Google Drive sheet, and in that Google Cloud Console that you created, there's going to be an email that you're going to get when you make those credentials, right? That email, you need to add it to your spreadsheet as an editor, right? You need to add it to your spreadsheet as an editor. It's a Gmail service account. With this Gmail service account, right now, you're basically giving your code access, or your Python script access to be an editor on the spreadsheet. And this way, you don't have to unlock it. You don't have to make your spreadsheet public, right? It doesn't have to be public. It just it's just giving you the opportunity to edit it um, while maintaining your privacy. So once you run the script, right, it's never going to be perfect. You're going to get errors, right? You're going to get a couple errors. There's going to be a syntax error. One thing that I realized, ChatGPT loves to put out like en dashes, right? So there's a difference between um, a regular dash. Oh, where's my phone? There's a difference between there's a difference between a regular dash and an en dash, right? An en dash, it might be an error because it's not going to be the same. Um, it's not going to be the same as regular dash. I forgot the name of it, but you might get those errors depending on what your file names are um, in here, right? These dashes, it might just change it, and it's okay. It's going to be a syntax error. But when you go to Python, right, as you see, you have to open up the sheet, right? So I have a hard drive that is the hard drive name, is the operations folder. I have a trading folder, and I have a data scripts folder. So you have to navigate to the folder where you have your script and your command prompt. This is the command prompt. You have to navigate to that folder. The easiest way to do that is when you're in here on your IDE or your Notepad plus plus, wherever you saved it at, if you right click on it on like the file, it's going to say open containing folder. And it's going to say open containing folder, or it's going to say open containing folder in command prompt. You clicked open containing folder in command prompt. That will bring you directly to here, so you don't have to do the whole call to directory stuff inside the command prompt. When you're in there, you type Python because you're letting your computer know that you're running Python, and then you type the name of the script. It'll run, and it'll tell you, hey, appended 6 rows to nominal M2 monthly. Appended M2 field monthly formulas for 6 new rows. Historical analysis appended 6 rows. Historical analysis. Boom, 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 boom. Now I got rid of this shit because I didn't like the month over month and year over year formulas were not working for whatever. I kept getting errors, so don't worry about this. But when I ran it again, now all it does is just update. It updates the historical rows using the Fred data. So this is automated now. It's automated now. So when I come over here, right, it's not formulated properly. But let's just delete it, right? Let's just delete it. Let's delete it. Let's go to our Python script, right? And when we hit Python m2 sup.py, let's unclick this, go back to it, and let's hit run. So when we run it, as you can see over here on the left side, it popped back up. It's not formatted. It's not formatted properly. That's not like a huge thing for me, right? I always could just what was he doing? format, alignment, just align it right. But now we have the data that's in there, just like that. Boom, sheet is in there. Seconds, you know, we're done. So that's pretty much the overall format. The more data you have, the more complex it's going to be, the more process you have to go to. If you have to scrape other websites and do different things, it's going to create more issues, more problems, things that you're going to break and it's going to fall apart. But ultimately, this is how you can automate your macroeconomic data collection from the Fred. Just use, long story short, just use ChatGPT. We are in a completely different era right now where all it takes is a couple good prompts and you could literally start saving time, hours, whatever you're saying, whatever you're trying to save every single day from just having certain things automated for you. It's that simple now. We're in that era now where there's less barriers to entries for people who want to trade, people who want to understand macroeconomics, and people who want to grow in their investment. Now, even beyond trading, if you are an investor, this works for you. This is beautiful. If you are an investor, you can start doing your own macroeconomic analysis. That means you don't have to sit on CNN and wait for somebody to tell you what's coming out or what's to come. You shouldn't be doing that anyway, but now the tools are here. They're accessible for us to do things that before somebody had to hire a programmer out of school or hire some developer to do this, and now you can do this by yourself, host it locally on your computer, even if you want to, which is something I'll do in the future, is like host it on a VPS and have it just run automatically. So I don't even have to go in and type anything. But I just save so much time versus doing this process where I have to edit the graph. All right, let's do 2020, 2024, November to this date. And then we gotta hit download. Then I gotta download as an Excel file. Wait for it to download. Then I gotta open the file, right? Open the file. Enable editing. Click on monthly. Then I gotta take the dates. Probably reformat it, but I don't even worry about that now. Take it, copy it over, go to the other spreadsheet, and then now I'm done. That may seem like, well, you know what, Eric, that wasn't really like that didn't take a lot of time. But like I said, this scales when you have multiple spreadsheets that you have to do. When you have multiple macroeconomic indicators that you're trying to adjust. That's when it scales. That's when it becomes, all right, this is bigger than just one spreadsheet. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that was pretty fast, right? Oh, I copied it over, boom, boom, boom. But it's like I've done this. Also, when you haven't done it in a while and you have a bunch of spreadsheets you need to edit, now it's going to take more time. But that's it for the video. I hope this helps somebody just to have the confidence to just go out there, use ChatGPT, start automating your data collection, and helping you improve your process, save you time, save you hundreds of hours in a simple, easy process.